Great. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Really happy to know that we are actually again spanning the globe, having people from all over the world with us. This is our monthly community for speakers, with speakers, for speakers. And here's just one quick thing. I know a lot of you are connected with me on LinkedIn. We are connected in many different ways. But if you're not part of our Heart Power Global Nation yet, our community for speakers and entrepreneurs, I'm just putting here into the chat the link. Make sure you join us so you're not missing out on future events and inspiration and insights, and you can connect with other speakers and entrepreneurs this way. So quickly about me, a lot, I know most of you know me, but some of you I haven't been in touch with for quite a while. You know that I'm the founder of Heart Powered Business. My mantra is speak up, scale up, impact the world. And we've helped hundreds of clients from more than 50 countries to go professional with their speaking. And even now during the pandemic times, double, triple, or even quadruple their income with our Voice to Millions framework. I've been a paid speaker for about 20 years myself, and I've been on stages in more than 25 countries on 5 continents already. And if you want to use the power of your voice, if you want to use speaking to grow your business, well, I'll share something else with you right away so you're not missing out. It's actually my 50 ways of how you use your speaking to grow your business. So I put that into the chat as well. So you have that, you can download it if you want to know what is Monique doing to use her speaking to grow her business. Here you go, you can download that. But again, today is not at all about me. It's all about you. And of course, about our precious guests that will inspire you to really, like every month, get practical hints and tips from our guests that you can apply right away for your speaking and your business and the amazing impact you're making. You can ask your own personal questions directly on how to make your speaking and business flourish further. This is your space to exchange and connect with other professional speakers around the globe. Also get help and support from others on your own high priority projects. So at the end of our session today as well, we open the room. If any one of you wants to have everyone else know something that you're working on right now, that is your place to get support and to connect with each other. And also, for some of us, it's lunch break. For some of you, it's morning, our US friends. For some of you, it's already afternoon or evening. So take a break with us and have fun with us and get inspired. You know that we make these sessions very interactive. So ask your questions in the chat anytime. And also from time to time, we'll open the room for you to ask questions directly. Also, we are recording this session so you can watch it and listen to it afterwards again to pick up more of the golden nuggets. And that means that please mute yourselves when you're not speaking. Also, we are video recording this, but I know that this is not an issue with you. So just be aware when you have your video on and you are speaking up, you're sharing a question or you're sharing something, again, you will be recorded. Well, every month we have an amazing guest with us and an amazing topic that we hope lifts you and what you do to a different level. And this time I'm especially excited because today we talk about how do we all excel under spotlight pressure? How do we give our best performance and really make the greatest impact, no matter how we feel inside? And I know, especially in the current times, there's so much happening around us, in the bigger scale, like, Ukraine and, and pandemic is not even over yet, right? There's so many things that distract us and put pressure on us. It might be in our business, it might be in our family. There's always something that doesn't make us stand strong. So how do we excel under that pressure? And how do you really handle the pressure, especially when you're in the spotlight? You're a speaker, you're sharing your message and wisdom. How do you handle that pressure? How do you stay calm? It's really time to perform and to mobilize your audience, to get them into action. Are you really able to deliver your best and make the biggest impact under the pressure of speaking in the spotlight? Okay, so today, this is what we're going to speak about. And, who is he? Who is our special guest today? Well, in the first place, he's an international trainer and coach. It's very well known for his transformational programs with high achievers, who are often in the public eye. And, you know, he's after a fortunate career on stage and on screen, he really now works with clients such as senior executives, professional footballers, musical theater stars, the occasional pop star, and he's really helping them under all that pressure, not only to perform better, but also to be at peace with themselves and in love with their life. And he's also the creator of the successful auditions program for creative high achievers. He created the CD of Angels of Forgiveness, the little journey of letting go. He also created an online program, which is a 6 weeks masters, which I've done, and I can tell you it switched everything around for me. And he recently launched a new program that's already, releasing a lot of energy and touching a lot of lives. And this program is called The Power of Forgiveness. He has worked with the Royal Academy of Music London, the Voice College, as well as Fusion 5 Performance in Germany, which is actually a performance center for professional athletes. He specialized in the high achieving mindset, and the techniques at the core of his work really often leave his clients with instant shifts in their reality. And I'm sure that that's what he can do with you today as well in some way. And in his past, he has been performing on big stages of the world for around 30 years, including the Bavarian State Opera, the London Palladium, the Châtelet in Paris, also in the New York State Theater on Broadway. He experienced firsthand what it means really to perform under pressure, under spotlight. And sometimes he had to perform in this way, which is half an hour notice. When one part of us knows that we can do it, but another might be thinking, what if they find out I'm actually not that good enough? Well, you want to turn your doubt and fear into your best performance ever. Well, find out how you can turn all of that to your advantage when you speak. So again, a whole lot of welcome. And you can already see him here. His name is Gido Schimanski. And beyond all of what I shared about him, he's an amazing friend. Well, Gido, I'm really, really happy to have you with us today. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. And wow, what an introduction. I mean, I'm listening to this and I sometimes think, well, that CV sounds like it's completely made up. And it is, I made it up along the way, but there's so many crazy things that happened in my life. And I loved it when you asked me if I want to, speak for your community again, because I spoke for you guys many, many years ago. And we came up with the topic of how do you excel under pressure is really, that is the one thing that I had to learn in my previous performing career, where, as Monique said before, where very often it was the question of, Gido, somebody dropped out, we have 20 minutes, can you play that role? Well, I never had a rehearsal. Well, you know the songs? Yes, go on. So I know that part, and I know standing on stage, performing to thousands of people. And nowadays, of course, with my clients, I always say I help people on the high achieving journey. So on one hand, I have the people who are already insanely successful, like, professional footballers up to the national teams, and they deal with the same anxieties and the same fear and the same pressure that I dealt with when I just started out, and that I know people are dealing with when they are starting out. And on the other hand, I even, I work with people who are just starting out. And someone asked me a very good question a couple of days ago. He might even be on the call, and he said, the healing work is so important. It is so much more important than helping people to be successful and to thrive in their businesses and make more money. And I actually strongly disagree. And this is why I love this topic so much, the excel under pressure, because I think so many people like you, when you have your speaking business or your soul is calling out to get on stage, to get your message out, two things usually happen. That means you set a strong intention and you say, I'm going out, I want to excel in what I do. And either the doors fly open and everything you want to do, according to the law of attraction, just easily happens. But that is not just what happens. Usually the second door opens and you are now being presented with everything that that still blocks you, our self-sabotages, our inner beliefs, the things that are holding us back. These things suddenly flag up, and not to block us or to stop our flow, but to show us, well, if you want to go where you want to go, then you got to look at this belief about yourself, or you got to look at this, I call them the back holders, the thing that is holding you back, because otherwise you won't be able to either get there, or when you get there, to fully enjoy it. And that is why I think the healing and the working on your success, if you do it right, is actually the same thing. It is accepting all parts of yourself, seeing where am I sabotaging and blocking myself, and why is fear piling up or popping up. So when we have that title, Excel under the pressure of the spotlight, or excel in the spotlight with the pressure that pops up, I ask myself, what does that mean? Why does the pressure suddenly pop up? If somebody is being invited to do a TED Talk, or to stand on stage and talk to thousands of people, or to play for a big league, or to sing on a bigger stage than I ever sang before, what is really presenting, or what does the pressure represent? That is really what we need to get into. And so today I want to share one side of my work with you. What I usually say is, if somebody comes to me and says, every time I'm facing, or I'm just on the verge of breaking through to my next success, or I have these ideas and then I won't let myself go there, I usually address things from two ways. On one hand, being the coach that I am, I want to look at, why is this triggering up? So just keep that in the back of your mind. Why is this fear coming up? Why do I suddenly feel ill and I want to throw up just because I go on that stage? Why do I, as it happened to me, black out while I sing? I mean, I actually didn't pass out. I just blacked out, soft knees, couldn't remember what I did. Still got the job in the end, but literally can't remember those 5 minutes of my life. The pressure was so high that I must have left my body. Apparently I was still singing. So why do these triggers come up? And find ways, find techniques, tools, coaches that help you to look at your personal triggers. But on the other hand, is what I always tell my clients, yes, we're working through triggers and triggers. So every time you are facing a new situation, you're going on stage, those triggers get less and less and less, and you can accept more of your magnificence. However, it's not a matter of, well, we release that one trigger and then suddenly all is good. It might be that you go on that stage and suddenly 5 minutes before, you freak. You're back in your old fears. You think, I've worked through this 1,000 times. Why is this showing up again? I know I've worked through this. I've done hypnosis on this. I've done all the tapping points on this. I've seen 17 different coaches. And now I have the same fear again. Does that resonate with anyone, or was that just me? In those moments, you need to have tools at hand where you can level yourself up again, where you can get yourself on track again. So on one hand, you release your triggers and you look at what is blocking me, how can I grow stronger? And on the other hand, at some points, in some situations of my life, I have to be able to just perform right now, and I need tools to get on track. And I just wanted to differentiate that today, so we're very clear that this is the getting on track, getting online and aligned with where I want to go beforehand, during, and after. But if you have the same fears that keep popping up, that you might also want to look at, okay, how do I release them afterwards? Or how do I release them beforehand? Does that make sense? So we're always coming from two sides, releasing the root and also making sure that you stay leveled. And let's face it, we are all, no matter if you're a speaker or a performer or a mother of two, or anyone really, is performing under enormous pressure at the moment. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I think we're all sensing, we're all feeling an extra lot of pressure on top of what we're going through anyway, due to the situation we've been in the last 2 years, you know, and it looks like it just keeps bringing out new stuff. So we have to be able to take care of ourselves. And so if we look at the one managing a state, the first thing I want to bring up is, why does usually the pressure feel so high if I go on that stage? Where I usually have been fine. I don't mind speaking to my 5 people in my family. I was absolutely fine speaking to 100 people that paid for it, or 50 people in like a small setting for 10 minutes. But suddenly I'm being asked to do something bigger, and suddenly all my old monkeys come up again. And very often it brings up that feeling of the imposter, I'm not actually that good. Why does everybody put me into this position? And when will they find out I'm not supposed to be here? I know 25 years of my performing career, that was my feeling. I played the most beautiful parts, and what most colleagues never knew about me, that I kept thinking, they were like, oh my God, I wish I had your career. And I kept thinking, I don't even know why I'm here. Any moment now, they will find out that I actually can't do this, that I never had the training someone else had. So it was a lot about accepting what was already there, accepting your magnificence, accepting your talents, reminding yourself of why you're there and why you are the right person to do the job. And to then, again, manage that state. When the old fears are coming up again, although you have dealt with them, this I wish someone would have told me 10 years ago or 15 years ago. If you're on your journey to building up your business, to building up your speaking or your performance career, and you have worked through all your insecurities and your self-sabotages and your blocks, and suddenly the same stuff pops up again. And I heard this from clients before. I thought we released this, we've done this. For me, that is a surefire sign that you are heading for your next breakthrough. Please hear this and put this on big letters on your mirror or somewhere where you can see this. If you are facing the same fears that you've known from before, you are for sure heading for a major breakthrough. And here's what happens, or why that happens. We bump along in our lives and we have an idea. We want to create, let's say, this new vision, this new idea. We dive into our speaking business, for instance. And we start speaking, and suddenly we get on stage for that very first time, and we might feel nervous, we might feel excited, we might feel I don't have anything to say, we want to pull out, but we work through this. We work through our insecurities, we let this go, and then we're fine. Now, if we never change our vision again, if we never look at growing again, expanding our vision and our dreams again, nothing would happen. We would be happy and fine for the rest of our lives, because if we release those roots, they are now always released and healed for that particular level on which you operate. However, we live in a world of contrast. What has been so far out of your comfort zone before, let's say speaking in front of a small stage, and you've never thought this was possible, and suddenly you did it and you were happy, and you do it 3-4 times and you settle in. What used to be very far out of your comfort zone now has become your absolute comfort zone. It's fine. It's fine to speak on all these stages. And because it has become your comfort zone, and we live in a world of contrast, we now look outside and we go, well, this is nice. Wouldn't it be also nice to maybe speak to not 10 people, but 150 people or 1,000 people? Wouldn't it be also nice to suddenly appear on TV or on a podcast? Wouldn't it be nice to, I don't know, have this kind of contract or that kind of contract? And so we receive a new contrast. Therefore, we often develop a new goal. We start reaching for the new goal, which means we are now expanding out of our now new comfort zone. And suddenly, what seems to be the old fear starts popping up again. It's not the old fear. I call it new level same devil. You know, some people say new level, new devil. And I always say, no, it's actually the same devil. You just have to drill deeper into the same topic. We drilled as deep as we needed for the last level. We got happy. Now we're expanding. We have new contrast. We have new vision, a new goal, and we're expanding more. So we got to drill deeper. And for the lack of a better word, heal deeper, accept a bigger part of us in order to be at peace, to then be on that bigger stage. And this is why I said, I want you to really hear this and put this on your wall, because if I would have known this a long time ago, this would have cut out a lot of stress for me, because I found myself, and Monique knows this story. I met Monique back then in a association for transformational leaders. And again, I wasn't sure why I was there. Apparently there was a reason. And on the second meeting, I was asked to speak there. I was happy to speak. I was on stage most of my life. People would pay for a show or they would ask for help, and therefore that was fine. And now I was at a meeting for, I think we were 35 transformational leaders from all across Europe. And I was asked not only to speak, but to be the last speaker. And my brief was, the woman who speaks before you will take them deep. Please take them even deeper. She does something similar to you. I was fine speaking, I thought. But on the Saturday night, sitting in my hotel room, I suddenly thought, I have nothing to teach them. These are not people who are searching healing. These are people who are accomplished coaches, teachers, healers themselves. What do I have to teach them? And suddenly, all my monkeys that I knew from when I was 24 or 28 or 33 on stage suddenly popped up again. I felt I just started out. Given by show of hands, by those of you who have the camera on, is that something you know, that the same things pop up again? Now, it was actually delivering the goal that I was going for, that I was aiming for, because I wanted a bigger stage. I wanted to be part of that community. I wanted to reach on a different level. So life presented me with the chance, and I flipped so much that I was 100% honest, considering unfriending everybody on my Facebook and leaving the hotel that night and just never speak to anyone again. I was so embarrassed. Of course, I didn't do that. I outlined some of my program that I thought, okay, this is what I can speak to them about. Said in the next meeting for that lady that was speaking just before me. Then the next thing happened, she basically held the same talk that I prepared. We were so much aligned that she presented everything that I presented. And I was sitting in the back of the room going, well, great. Now you want me to speak, and now the stuff I prepared has already been said. So what do? I literally started laughing. And that is the moment I learned to surrender and trust. I ripped up my paper, started laughing. I said, well, put me in the space and see what happens. And one of, probably for me, it was a very powerful moment. And I hear it was also for some of the people who were there. What am I saying with this? The monkey seems the same thing. Nowadays, when this happens, I can go in saying, bring it. You are heading for the next breakthrough. You know this is only flagging up, and I'm talking about I'm ill. I want to literally throw up, clump in my throat. I can't speak. Sweat stains down to my bones. Okay. I can either go for the fear or no, you're only feeling this because you're heading for the next bit of your outside of your comfort zone, and it's always gone well. Even with the things that haven't gone well, even with internet crashing on Zoom calls, or with not remembering what I needed to say, or technical stuff happening, it always ended up well and better than I thought and better than I planned. So that is for me one of the biggest nuggets I want to give you today, that embrace those fears. However, second, now let's get to the real nuggets. It's still not nice then going on stage, being hyperventilating, not being able to breathe or speak with soft knees, and you want to have a few tools to actually get into this. And for me, one thing I discovered, what really sparks up all of that pressure and all of that fear, is our expectation. I nowadays call expectation the granddaddy of all problems. If we wouldn't have any expectations, we literally wouldn't have most of our problems, especially when we deal with those pressures. What do I mean by that? I am one of these spokespeople for a strong intention, knowing very clearly of where I want to go and what I want to bring across, for instance, if I go on stage. But I'm as much a spokesperson to not expect that that will actually happen. Now, I set a strong intention of where I want to go with my talk, my conversation, my presentation. And then only if it happens 100% the way I planned it, it has to happen, and it doesn't, I'm in trouble. So we got to find a way to set a very strong, oh yeah, absolutely, I go bananas, to set a very strong intention and then completely let it go, because I know, I have learned life is happening for me, and if things happen differently, it's because that's needed for this group, for this audience, for these people. It doesn't matter if these are 3,000 people, then that's the right thing to do. So the first thing is set a very strong intention, and I would ask you to do this in writing. Not only what is the runout of your speech or the runout of your performance, dive into emotionally, what do I want to achieve? How do I want people to feel? How do I want people to leave the room after I'm finished? How do I want people to receive me during the talk, after the talk, before the talk? Do I want them to reach out to me? Where do I want them to reach out to me? And again, I'm not talking about the technical or the runout, but the emotional input. And I want you to do this in writing, in extra on top of the runout. Because if we just do it in our head, we instantly or so easily slip back into the fear mode of, oh yeah, but then they probably will think this, and then I have my sweat stains, and then I this and this and this. I'm talking sweat stains because I literally had a presentation 2 days ago where I looked at the camera and suddenly, you know, I was just, it threw me. So our brain loses focus too quickly. But if I do this in writing and actually write it out, I want them to receive me with warmth. I want them to get the message on a deeper level. I also want to be flexible enough so I can feel the room and deliver what that room needs right now. I also want them to feel safe and open enough to ask questions at the appropriate times. I want to be safe and flexible enough, but also strong enough to set boundaries when somebody crashes with questions, to maybe ask them to ask the question later. So I'm playing with what would the perfect runout be for me. I call that a pre-frame. Someone once said to me, aren't you just lying to yourself? And I said, yeah, but I rather choose that lie than lying to myself, telling me everything that could go wrong, because that never happens either. So dive into that vision, set a strong intention, and then let it go. Forget about it. It's like you don't know where there's a traffic jam or if there's a street blocked or what's the fastest route. And I hope my internet is stable now. You only know where you want to go, and that GPS is now recalculating the route for you. So we gotta let it go to then trust our flow in that moment. And then the next thing is something I want you to do right now. I want you to do a little check-in, check-out. And that is something that I highly recommend you do during your days anyway, but do it definitely before you go on stage and after you leave the stage. Don't miss out the back end. I get to that later. What do I do? What do I mean with a check-in, check-out? We are often held hostage by what's going on around us, especially when we go on stage. Suddenly there's a host, there's a producer, a promoter. Suddenly you can't get a bottle of water, or the sound system doesn't work, or, you know, and other people getting nervous, it has nothing to do with you. Or the news are on, you start scrolling through social media, you see what's going on in the world, and chances are it might crash your energy. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I know there's a couple of singers on here on the call today. When I still was performing, that was one of the biggest things before an audition call, before you go in and you have to perform perfectly to land the job. You're suddenly in a room with 20 colleagues who are all nervous, and everybody is very keen on telling you how nervous they are and that you also should be nervous. And they slept well. They haven't slept well. And then the train ride there was also very bad. And oh my God, and my voice, you know, my voice is itchy. And so suddenly you feel like everybody going into their drama. And if you're not checking in with yourself, you're checking in on everybody else's energy. And we don't feel that. We all do it naturally throughout the day. So do a little check-in. How do I do a check-in? And I will guide you through this in a moment, and then we can open up the first few questions. I want to see, where am I physically? Am I tense? Am I loose? Am I relaxed? Or am I in panic mode physically? Where am I emotionally? Am I tense or am I relaxed? Am I happy? Am I excited? Am I scared? And where is my presence? How clear, how focused am I right now? If you do this more often, you will have done like 2 minutes maximum. The thing I will give you today, you will do in 1 or 2 minutes. This is, you know, I love quick tools. Only doing this will allow you to completely settle down, cut out the outside world, and land with who you are. And I want you to do the same thing when you get off that stage, because you might bring a lot of anxiety off that stage into the next conversations. So I want you to experience this just quickly. Just close your eyes for me for 1 moment. And take a deep breath in and out. And just allow yourself to be present, fully present in this moment. And just scan your body from your toes to the top of your head. How do you feel? Is it tense anywhere? Is it relaxed anywhere? And Gido, if you would mind muting your microphone, that would be wonderful. Thank you. Just scan your body. And on a scale from 0 to 10, 0, you're very relaxed. 10, you're really crammed up. What's the number you would give yourself? And just notice that number. So 0 is good. 10 is very tense in your body. And then scan your body again. Scan your emotional world. Scale from 0 to 10. How relaxed are you right now? Emotionally, how happy are you? How free flowing in your mind? How excited, how open? And on a scale from 0 to 10, 0, you're completely at a 0 state. You're receiving, you're happy. 10, you're manic all over the place. What's that number to come up? Wonderful. Just note it for yourself. And also now, on a scale from 0 to 10, how present are you? And because we've chosen the number this way around, 0 being completely present, that circle of the 0 stands for your 100% here. 10 is you're scattered all over the place. Just notice how tense you are, how relaxed you are, how present you are. And take a deep breath in and out. Keep your eyes closed. And now imagine if this would be your next talk, your next presentation, your next performance, or this is just during your day. Ask yourself, how do I want to feel? So if you're tense, maybe you want to be more present. Maybe you want to be more relaxed. Maybe you want to be more receiving. What does that mean for you to be more relaxed, to enjoy that talk, that presentation. Again, dive into that vision. We're now entering that state of the intention again. How do I want to feel? And there is no yes buts. How do I want to feel? And then take a deep breath in and out. And slowly open your eyes. How did that feel for you? Wonderful. Anya, thumbs up. Now, all you did was actually check in with yourself and diving into a vision. You haven't even really done any exercises. What does that mean? All you allowed yourself to do is come to your center so you can serve the best. I assume when you go on stage or you perform, you're serving. You're taking people somewhere. And this is not about you. This is about the others. This is so you can be as centered and as powerful as possible so you can deliver and serve the best. And all you did was bring your focus back down to yourself. Is there any questions, Monique, around this? Or am I actually making sense?
You're making
Which would be wonderful.
sense, absolutely. But I haven't seen any questions yet that were posted. If you feel that there is a question on your side right now, you can unmute yourself and ask your question right away. Okay, there's something coming back. Okay, what if you're facing a really heartbreaking experience? Vasiliki is asking. What if you're facing a really heartbreaking experience, Gido? That would be a question.
So if you're facing a heartbreaking, when you know it's, am I understanding this right? Let me just see, I have to give a speech hours after I learned a friend died. Honestly, for me, it is absolutely the same thing. I tell you why. I decided to hold the eulogy for my own dad. When my father passed away, my brother decided that I had to hold the eulogy, or the priest would do, and I decided, no, this is my job. This is what I do, and I wanted to honor, of course, that energy, and it was very emotional. I had the emotional support of someone actually in the crowd. My best friend was there, and she kept seeing me, surrounding me in all kinds of lights and shapes. But I still did the same exercises. Did I allow myself to grieve? Yes, but not in that moment, because I was there to allow everybody else to hold that space. The question that you're asking, Vasilika, I think it was, is very often, especially if we deal with grief, and of course, me preparing for something that I already know happened 10 days before is different than hearing my friend passed away. But as every performer who performs 8 shows a week can tell you, sometimes you will get those messages, and half an hour later, you have to be on stage. And there is tools to do that. I find the biggest problem with that is that people don't allow themselves to do that because they feel it takes away from their love, or that it feels fake, or that it feels like superficial. And depending on how heartbreaking the event is, anyone would understand to say, actually, I'm so distraught, I cannot perform. And then be honest with yourself and be honest with the people. However, if that's not an option, be at peace with that you can grieve and feel pain and still perform on your highest level. Those two don't have to exclude each other. Now, we are conditioned to believe something else in our society. You have to dive into everybody's drama. You have to then fully be in the grief, for instance, if we stay with that example. But I know that my vibration, my frequency, my energy, it's important that it stays high while I still look at the grief and go through the processes. So I hope that answers your question slightly, because I know that's a very, very vulnerable question as well. I would still use these tools in order to get back on track and allow yourself to do the grieving after if you have to perform. Does that make sense, Vasily?
Great. Gido, we have time for another question? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, Sangeet is asking, often expectation to perform or excel is not even driven by ourselves, but by other people. Like, if you're employed by your line manager or supervisor, how do you ensure that sense of self-calm prevails in such circumstances?
Great question. Same answer. Absolutely same answer. Because what you're doing with suddenly, I mean, I know exactly what you mean. The stress of everybody looking at you and expecting now these, you got to deliver just puts the stakes even higher, but your focus is on the outside. You are now delivering for everybody else. And with the check-in, as we did before, you're zooming in. Ideally, you want to find a space where you don't care and you don't think what your boss, your colleagues think of you. This brings me to one of my very, very high profile footballers that I work with. And the pressure, I thought this was very interesting. The pressure that these people, these athletes often feel come in with the positions, they come with all the press. They don't perform to just 60,000, but then they have, I don't know, 5 million people on the telly watching them and judging them and voicing all their opinions. And the trick, what helped that particular footballer at the time was to remind him why he started playing football in the first place. He literally sabotaged himself because he was delivering, he was too much in the story, he was too much in the minds of others. People he never met in his life, the press, media, fans. And when we got him back into, well, when I was 12 years old, I just wanted to kick balls. And I knew I was good and I liked the competition and I liked being one of the best. And suddenly it started sparking and we found that space where he realized not caring what others think will actually help me to deliver the results that others want. Let that one sink in. Not caring what others think will help me to deliver what others want in that space, your boss or the fans, the managers. So the path is always the same. Come back to yourself. Because if you try to deliver for everybody else, getting back to your true inner self, absolutely. The moment you try to tend to everybody else around you, you make only sure of one thing, you're away from yourself. And that's not where you want to be when you deliver a speech. Is this helpful so far? Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. It definitely answered the query. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Great, Sanjeet. So one thing,
when more questions, but I suggest you keep going and then we hold that for
exactly
the end of our session.
I want to give you two more tools to really help you. So I've spoken about the pre-frame before, making very sure of how I want this to roll out and then let it go and not attach to the outcome. Now, I would highly recommend you practice that. You practice that every 2 hours. When I started off with these tools, I set a timer in my phone every hour, every 2 hours to check during the day, where is my emotional state? Because the thing is, we lose it, especially with the stuff that is going on in the world and everybody discussing everything and everybody sending you 17,000 videos that you definitely need to watch right now. We go stir crazy. So we lose where we lose ourselves. Set a timer to practice this. How do I feel? How do I want to feel? And set a pre-frame for the next hour, for the next 2 hours, for now I'm getting into my car. How do I want to drive? How do I want this drive to go? I'm getting into the theater. How do I want to meet the people? I'm literally going, well, everybody's going to be friendly. Everybody's going to be happy to see me. The sound system is perfect today. The audience, they're blast. So I'm creating a fun story in my head that's certainly more fun than the other stuff that's very often going on in my head. That's the pre-frame. One mind hack that can accelerate the pre-frame is something that I call, and that we do excessively in the 6-week masters, that I call the power question. Now, a lot of you will have heard of doing an affirmation. You know, we're using affirmation. My body is healthy on all levels. I live an abundant life on all levels. And affirmations are great. They have helped me a big deal if they were already aligned with where I was going anyway. If an affirmation is too far out of your comfort zone, in my experience, nothing happens, or it even creates more stress. However, if I use a power question combined with the pre-frame, I access a different part of my brain. And this is what I want you to do when you go on stage. A power question is basically just turning your desired outcome, your goal, into a question as if it has happened already, and you're asking yourself why it has happened. For instance, why is it so easy for me to stay calm in this presentation, in this talk? Why am I the best in delivering this role? Ooh, that might be, you know, if I would say I'm the best playing these roles, my monkeys would go berserk. They would tell me, no, you're not. You know, there's 1,000 guys playing this role better. But if I ask myself, why am I the best to play this role today, for instance? Your brain is a loyal server. It will always answer the question, or always find the answers to the questions that you're asking it. Now, the problem with most of us is we keep asking, well, why is this going wrong? Why am I always nervous? Why will I forget my lyrics? You will get the answer why you always go wrong, why you forget the lyrics, but you won't really get the answer to how you make it better, because you're not asking that question. So again, it will most likely feel like a lie in the beginning. But if you do this in writing, it will change your energy completely. Why will it be so easy for me to do this presentation? Well, because I'm well prepared, because I've been doing this for years, because my boss trusts in me, because people need my energy, or people need the message I'm teaching right now. And you can feel the energy rising up. I really urge you to do that. I don't have the time today to dive too deep into, you know, to actually practice this, but I really urge you to play with this. Even if you're sitting on the train or at home, just take those 10 minutes. Why is it so easy? Any situation, why is it so easy for me to calm my kids down? Why do I suddenly sleep all night? Your brain has, or your mind has the answers, and you will access a different part of your system in order to get there. And that is all part of the presentation, of the preparation and the pre-frame before you actually go on that stage. Now, with the check-in and the pre-frame, you're most likely coming more to your center. You now present. You can use tools like breathing exercises and other exercises to calm your system down. And I will share some with you. I will put these on my social channels later again, because we only have 10 minutes left. But there's one thing that I find more important to do with you now is what happens when you come off stage. Again, plan what you're doing. Most people come off stage, or their performance, or their games, and they might have done 90% or 9 out of 10 beautifully, perfectly. The audience is happy, everybody's raving, and they made one mistake or half a mistake. And all of our brain rambles around that one mistake. Why did I do this? Why did I do this? Oh my God, I'm so stupid. And again, the energy crashes. Hence, we're doing the checkout first. So the same thing, checkout is the same as the check-in. It's just in the end, not in the front. So again, take that moment, close the door of your dressing room for a minute and say, just check in. How do I feel? Is my body tense? Is it relaxed? Oh, no, it's fine. Have I picked anything up from somebody else? Yeah, I'm actually emotionally, I'm not quite happy. I want to deal with that later. Am I present? Yeah, I'm pretty present. Or no, everything is, I need to address a whole lot of stuff that was going on. Just notice where you are. When you come off stage, do that check out. And then do the one thing that for me has changed everything, and that is the reframe, not the pre-frame, the reframe. And I do this. This is also part, I touched on this in the 6-week masters, but we're now doing this in the Power of Forgiveness course, which is a deep dive into letting go. And we've done this in the last module, actually, and it's so powerful. A reframe basically overrides the mistakes that you have made and allows you to practice for the next time. So we know by now that our brain cannot differentiate if we're experiencing something or if we are imagining something with all of our senses. I used to think, oh, that's just some woo-hoo, bingly-bongly stuff. No, I want to see the research on that. You don't need research for that. I want you to close your eyes quickly. And I know some of you have done this with me. You close your eyes quickly for me. I want you to just experience how your body reacts to your emotional world. And I want you to fast forward to the summer when, you know, the next heat waves hit. And the beautiful sun is out, and we had a couple of days where it's really, really hot. Just imagine that, how you're at home. You have all the windows open, but there's actually it doesn't cool anything down because the wind is so hot. And you feel that sweat drip on your neck, maybe just below your larynx, on your chest. Your whole body is sweaty, and you feel you're thirsty, you need to quench your thirst, so you go to your refrigerator. And now imagine with all of your senses how you open that refrigerator, and there's 3 juicy, deep yellow lemons in that refrigerator. And you take the juiciest one out, and you put it on your counter, and you take your sharpest knife and you cut that lemon in half. And the lemon just splits it halfway through, and you see that lemon juice, you can smell it, and you see it dripping off that knife. And now you take that lemon and you smell it, and you smell the acid. And then you bite right into the juicy lemon, and you feel that sour juice squirt into your mouth. And then you put it down and you open your eyes for me again. Just by show of hands, who started salivating? Who started getting wet? When I do, even if I walk through this exercise with someone else, I need to swallow a bit more than usual. What happens? I dive into a vision and my body starts reacting. And this is what we use in the reframe. So what we do is we go into the situation where we made that mistake. We go before it. Then we let it play out once more, because sometimes when we made a mistake, we feel that mistake going, we make it over and over again in our heads. So we do this all the time anyway. I now want you to go back and then imagine how it would have unfolded perfectly. And then you go back, just like an old tape recorder, and you, again, imagine how it would unfold optimally. And I'm going to do that with you just twice today, to round this call off. And what you do is you teach your body for the future how next time you will behave. So next time you go on stage. So you create sustainable change, but also you lose the memory of how icky it was, if that makes sense. And I've tried this over and over again with so many clients and so many calls, and people report, first they think of the one situation where they made the big mistake and they feel, I don't even want to think about this. And then they go over this 3 times and suddenly they go, it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't trigger anymore. It sounds simple, powerful. So again, close your eyes for me, 1 second. Just want you to experience this in case, I know some of you will have not made a mistake in years, and you probably have nothing that you feel icky about, but some of you might. And maybe if you have a situation where you go, well, actually that could have gone better, or I'm really embarrassed that happened, or I really behaved like crap there, or I shouldn't have done this. And now just dive and relive that mistake one last time. Just feel it. And feel how maybe embarrassing, how shameful, how weird, how wrong you felt. It's probably the last time that you feel this. And now rewind it like an old VCR. And I always like, Some of us might be old enough to remember VCRs and cassette tapes, and go to that moment just before you made that mistake, before you forgot your words or you tripped or whatever. And now allow yourself to imagine how would that situation have unfolded optimally. Tell yourself a different story, make it up. With all your senses, how would you feel? How would you behave? How do you carry yourself? How does your body feel? What do you actually say? Oh, you're looking down, you're not tripping because you're stepping over that cable, or whatever it is. Play it out optimally. Might feel like a lie, and that's okay. And then rewind it like that old cassette tape to the moment just before you made that mistake. Right before. And now play it off again in the optimal state. Maybe you even remember more things that you want to do, that you can do, that you are able to do. And just imagine them. Write a new story. Dive in, see yourself how you are now living through that experience if it would be optimum. Yes, you're creating a story. You're telling a story. How do you feel? What do you say? How do you behave? What are the steps you're taking? Perfect. And just rewind it one last time. I can't just do it twice. I have to do it 3 times. Go back to the beginning, right to that moment. And one last time, pick the best possible outcome you ever could imagine. How do you feel? How do you sense? How do you speak? How do you show up? What is the one thing you need to do so all of that would have turned out beautiful, and just dive in with all of your senses. And when you're done, you take a deep breath in and out, and slowly open your eyes again. Does anyone feel different now when they think of their mistake? I see a few smiling faces. It's so simple and so powerful. I love the thumbs up. Thank you, guys. So if you just take these simple and yet powerful nuggets on and incorporate them before your speeches, remind yourself, I'm only leveling up when the fear is coming. Do your pre-frame, do your intentions, ask with power questions, do the checkout with a reframe. You will change massively. I guarantee you that. I hope I could give you some golden nuggets today, and we have to unfortunately come to an end. I would love it if I see you. I send out a lot of ideas on my newsletter. So if you just go to my website, there is at the moment, it's linked to a forgiveness series, but I'm putting something new on there very soon. And if this work interests you, just follow me on all the usual channels, and hopefully I can take you through some of my programs soon. Monique, over to you.
Right, thank you so much. Many, many golden nuggets, and I love the quotes that you weave in and all the tools. And even though I've been on your masterclass, it's always good to get a reminder, right? You say, haven't done that for a while. So amazing. But I know there's still some questions coming up, and I know there was a question from Anya as well. And I also put like your website link in here. And also everyone that, I know that quite a few people were a little bit later with us. So I still also going to share quickly the link before we answer a few more questions. I want to share again the link to our Heart Power Global Nation to make sure that you have the space, access to the space to connect with other speakers and entrepreneurs. And also I'm sharing with you my fabulous, famous Speak to Scale map. If you want to find out how do you use your speaking to grow your business further. So share that link in here as well in the chat, just to make sure you're not missing that. So grab that, that's free, and it holds like my wisdom of the last 20 years of speaking, using speaking to grow my business. But I know there's still a couple of questions here, Gido. For example, from Anya. Anya was asking earlier, Is it about parking up? When you spoke about the previous tools, is it about parking up for a limited time, like getting through the next 10 minutes or performance, allowing the tools to facilitate that? You wanna, or Anya, do you wanna just unmute yourself and say something around the question? I don't know if you got it answered in the meantime or.
Yeah, I was just thinking, what it made me think of was when I went through my divorce. And I remember initially I was a teacher, and it was just like having to park up what I was feeling to be able to get through the next 10 minutes, because then I knew it was break time. And then I could look at it and kind of calm myself down and then park it up for the next thing. So it wasn't that I was ignoring the situation, because it was very much, sort of overwhelming, but it was about managing it so that I could do what I had to do in that instance, which was to teach 30 very behaviorally challenging children.
100%, Anya. This is such a powerful question. And you're describing a situation that so many people do know. I mean, life happens, and these situations, of course, they happen, and we find ourselves in them, and we still have to perform. And I never say, I do believe that energy follows focus, but I'm not someone who says just put a happy sticker on the pain and don't look at it. No, it's feel it, sit with it, but I rather do it in the time when I really can explore and see, okay, why is this actually hurting me so much? Why, what is all divorce? What is all that? I mean, this will trigger a lot of different things. And it won't go away. It won't go away in those 10 minutes. So yes, it's absolutely about parking it, not only to perform better, but also to take the time to then properly dive into the stuff that you want to dive into. And it's allowing yourself to still feel good in the times when you need to feel good, or as good as you can for the moment, and then when you go through the pain and you dive in, then I often say indulge in it, not indulge in the drama, but feel it, sit with it, so you can go through it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
So yes, perfect. Thank you.
Good. Does anyone else still have a question? That is your opportunity. One more question. Grab it if you can. If you still wanna, yeah. Vasiliki has one, but just unmute yourself. Anyone else?
Thank you so much for the wonderful session. I was just wondering, this is the trick that I use, because I know that the body feels the same when it is under pressure and it's fear, but it also feels the same when we are enthusiastic. So what I do is like, let's do this. I'm enthusiastic because I'm going to give my message. Of course, sometimes things happen and I'm flat. So meaning like the one that I told you about earlier, I lost a friend. I was like, it was crazy. And thank God it was Toastmasters, because that's where I had to deliver the speech, and the environment was great. It was safe. But sometimes I have to speak with parents, and it's either you are not allowed to cry. So the thing is, my question to you is this. You said we need to fix ourselves emotionally in a way and check our state. And we do the breathing. What if this does not work?
I probably wouldn't have said you need to fix yourself, because I don't believe we need fixing. I think everything is good as it is. And if you want to expand to another level, we need to look at, okay, what needs our intention? So that's very important for me, because it's literally the word I use is there's no fixing. Okay. What you do is you manage your state. And not all tools work the same way. So I do a lot of heart breathing or peripheral visions. What does work though is if you make sure, if you have I'll show you this, to have a list of tools that help you. So this is actually the backside of for my 6-week masters. These are all different tools they get. And half of them might not work for you. And you try them and they don't work, and they don't work, and they don't work, and then one does actually work. So you got to have a pool of different things for situations like this that snap you out of the current focus, that break the state. This is really what you're trying to do, break the state. Sometimes the simplest one for me used to be watch bloopers. I used to love the sitcom Friends, but what I used to love even more is watching bloopers, things that happened wrong on the show because they snapped me out of my state. That was a tool for me for many, many years. Why? When we are in distress, we don't need to choose the polar opposite in order to get better. And this is what most people don't realize. If I feel fearful, I don't need to imagine how I feel courageous now, because chances are you just won't, because you're stuck in your fearful state. What you need to do is you need to snap out of the fear and therefore choose a tool that gets you out of the fear. Once you're out of the fear, you might have access to the courage. So, but when you're in that state and you are, to choose your words, trying to fix yourself, you're just digging the hole deeper very often. And so this is important. Find a way to snap out of the state to then choose it. If you choose everything and you just can't get out, which doesn't happen often, but if it does happen, I'm a big friend of, simply because it hardly ever happens, to find someone you can share that with.
Mm.
I wouldn't go on stage and saying, actually, my friend just died, because your whole audience will suddenly be there. But if you are on the verge of, let's say, crying, of not being able to speak, you could say, guys, I'm here. I'm so excited to be here. If you feel me shaking right now, only if none of the other stuff worked, this is important, then share, please forgive me, I just had some very distressing news. I'm doing everything to be here with you. Because people are then more forgiving and you can relax, and very often you snap out of your state. But what is important is that you're not using this to create drama or sympathy, which I'm sure you wouldn't, and only use it if none of the other stuff works, which I believe you will find something that snaps you out of it. And then I remember Monique and I had this conversation years ago, and then don't share that, because you will bring people to a place where you just don't want them. They just start diving into your emotional state. And so this is only, I hope I didn't freeze there. This is only for the moment if nothing else works.
Can I just add or ask to that about acknowledging what I find, because I deal with post-divorce people. So when they've gone through that emotional slump, getting their life back together. And it's about acknowledging it. It's like, yeah, it's happened because somehow what I found is that people feel that they're being disloyal, in this case to your friend, because it's like you haven't made that important enough, because this is very frivolous. But to just acknowledge it and say, right, yeah, and even assign it to them. Okay, I've got to do this. I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it in your memory, but not to, because when we don't, we push it down and it keeps trying to get up, because our mind's saying, no, you need to deal with that. Our emotions are saying, you need to deal with this.
Very, 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 very good comment. I do think these are slightly different things, because I think what Vasiliki was asking is the moment you have to perform to someone who probably doesn't know you, mm-hmm. and you're stuck in that. I would be very careful what energy, because I am the intention guy, what intention I want to put into the room. Usually it serves all of us much better if I just manage my state and I carry them, because by the end I feel better and then I can deal with my pain. But sometimes if I go, actually, I just had a very emotional moment, give me one moment, let's just breathe all together. Mm. They are very forgiving. And then
I didn't acknowledge it in front of the whole crowd. I just mean an internal acknowledgement, I share all my dirty laundry here because I'm feeling a bit emotional. I mean, just in general.
Yes, I just wanted to be very clear on that, because we have those people too that just, they use this to dive into the drama, and it's not helpful. It doesn't help anyone.
However, you know what? I had two speeches one that in my mind while you were giving your presentation. In one of them, it was about a friend dying, and I was like shocked. But the message that I was going to give that day was extremely positive, and I was like, let's go for it, and we're going to deal with the death afterwards. But the other time, I faced the death. I was in a situation where I was thank God I'm here alive. Let's put it that way. So in that day, instead of giving my normal speech, I was shaking. I gave the speech of what had happened, and I was crying, and I pulled myself together, and I told him, you know what? This is what I learned today. So sometimes I change the speech, because my intention is always what the audience is going to get out of my speech.
Perfect. I mean, that is the point on what I said in the beginning. Set the intention. How do I want to? I want to deliver today what they need the most, and then let it go. And if you feel this is the moment, this is what I teach this moment, then follow this and dive into that. 100%. I'm with you. I would have done that. Monique, I think we need to wrap up.
Amazing. I'm just watching time a little bit. Oh my God, you are all amazing. Thank you for sharing and asking and, discussing. I mean, I think it's such an important topic, because I don't know, let me ask all of you. I mean, how many of you feel almost every day there's a moment when we feel under pressure? Yes? Right? With everything that's happening around us, all the news we hear, right? And again, using Gido's amazing tools will help us to go through these moments, through these days, through these situations. So thank you, Gido, for sharing all of that with us. I'm sure we could spend the rest of the day, and I see Bettina and a few of your fans are here with us as well. Great to have you, and all of you. So, again, the important thing is that you all start applying what you learn, okay? So take these golden nuggets, take these tools and try them out, okay? Get yourself back into balance. Get yourself being present in the moment again, no matter what's happening around you. That doesn't mean that there will be moments when we're, crushing down on the sofa and we're crying our head off, right? I mean, in our heart out. It's okay. But sometimes, especially when we need to perform, we are all professionals. And the tools that you share with all of us, Gido, are priceless. Thank you. And I also know that, as every one of you is doing amazing work and is, impacting the world. And, as you know, these spaces here where we get together as speakers, entrepreneurs every month, we also want to give you the opportunity to announce what's happening on your side. And then, of course, we give Gido a final thank you. But I know, Diane, you wanted to share something with our community today, and maybe if any one of you is doing something amazing you want the world to know about, or you need support for, this is the space right now to share that, right? Diane.
Thank you, Monique. I just wanted to put it out there that I am working towards a festival here in Berlin, Germany. And the idea is the first time ever, as far as I know of, that we're creating a festival that's dedicated solely to true personal stories, which is unusual here in Europe, because stories usually mean fairy tales and fiction and other people's stories. And it's quite a big project. I really believe in it. And yesterday, as we started to write these funding applications to try to get funding to do this, we noticed one of the questions was, who are your international cooperation partners? And I thought, oh no, we don't have any. And I thought, oh yes, what a great idea. And I just wanted to throw this out there that I'm just planting a seed. Maybe you know of a theater, an institute, professional speaker association. Some partner has a legal entity that perhaps we could do some kind of exchange, whether it's exchanging content like stories, artists, I don't know what, workshops. So I've just put my email address in the chat box, and thank you for considering and thinking about it.
I love it, Diane. I love your project. I love stories. I love the work you do. And I'm happy to make you some introductions if you want to. I know some presidents of some speakers speaker associations, the lady in India, I know the one in South Africa. I'm sure we can help you find some partners. And just as you said, put your email address here in the chat. And if anyone resonates with your project or wants to know more about it, please get in touch with Diane, because again, you know, when last year, or 2 years ago already, when Corona hit us, a lot of the people that we are working with said, we really appreciate inspiration. We appreciate uplifting stories. And that's when we started to also interview amazing entrepreneurs and speakers on a regular basis. So check out our YouTube channel, where you find interviews with these people. But, you know, again, Diane, you sharing these stories and contributing to this festival is an amazing mission. Thank you. So all of you, get in touch with Diane if that resonates with you, or if you even want to become an international partner to Diane, that would be amazing. Okay.
Something?
Yes, go ahead.
The best thing to do, one of the best things that we can do to help Diane right now, I'm like, okay, I don't have somebody, but maybe somebody that I know has somebody. So perhaps we could share it on LinkedIn.
Yeah, we can share it. And also, you know, again, as I said, once you're part of our Heart Power Global Nation, today is Tuesday, tomorrow is Wednesday. Every Wednesday, we actually have a space in there where we invite people to share whatever you want to share, right? So even if you have a product coming up or webinar coming up, right? Normally we are a non-promotion community, but if you have something to share or something you need support with, Wednesdays is always our Wednesday promotion post. So just put it in there, okay? And then again, people that resonate with it will get in touch with you. And that is true to all of you, okay? Good. Does anyone else have anything to announce or to share? Or Anya?
I'm sorry, I thought I was muted. Yes, this may be way out of the ballpark, but I've never done this before, but I started a Facebook group. Okay, just like this is Miss Anti-Tech here. And it's called From Divorce to Dazzling, and it's trying to get women and men who are post-divorce or going through divorce to tell their stories, because I want to collect those so I know what it is they want from me, in a sense, you know, how to help them, because everybody's is different. I put it on LinkedIn and then realized it wasn't very clear, but the Facebook group is called From Divorce to Dazzling. If you could invite people or ask, you know, sort of share that with people to join the group, that would be really appreciated.
Yeah, and again, you can put your email address here in the chat, and then people can connect with you, Anya, if they, you know, once they resonate with you. And you could talk to Diane. Obviously, you're correcting stories, she's connecting stories. I see a connection between the two of you. So, you know, get in touch with each other, right? Okay. Great, amazing. Anyone else want something to share? Danya, you want to share where you're going to speak? You're Present to Succeed.
Yes, okay. Hello. So Present to Succeed is the biggest presentation conference all over the world, and it's happening on the 7th and 8th of April. And I will give a speech about how you can convince and fascinate with your voice. So if you wanna, I will put something in the Heart Powered Global Nation group tomorrow because it's a little bit of promo. You can get extra discount with a promo code, and it's an amazing event. I was there last year, and it's so great, and there are great speakers. I think 50 speakers, and they speak about storytelling, presentation, and so on and so on. So really something amazing.
Yes, and it's amazing that you speak there. It's a very prestigious event, obviously, and I know that you teach people how to, you know, how to speak like music and make an impact.
Yes.
Really, really powerful. Great. So I shared one last time the Heart Power Global Nation link. So if you want to share that, and also, let's round off the session with Gido. Again, don't hesitate reaching out with him. I'll share one more time his website link here as well. So reach out, check out his free stuff. There's always a lot of inspiration you can find there. And Gido, would you like to round off our session, because you've been our special guest? A final inspiring message from your side, I think, would be very appreciated by everyone that's still with us.
everything we all want is, I don't want to make this sound like a cliche. It's all about accepting that what we want is already there. This is one lesson I've learned. So stepping out of the stories that we tell ourselves is so important, and then allow and receive the stuff that friends, clients, people out there are willing to give us, because very often the stuff we really want is already waiting to come into our lives, and we are the ones fending it off. And so I see your magnificence, and I see you accepting that magnificence and receiving those presents. That is what I wanted to share with you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being with us today, Gido. So again, all of you, turn what you learned today and the golden nuggets into real, try it out. And let us know in the Hot Power Global Nation as well, share with us, like, what are you taking away from that? How is it working for you? What additional questions come up, right? You can always dive deeper into things together, okay? And I've been on the master course. I'm definitely going to be on one of the forgiveness courses, because again, letting that luggage go that we carry around on our shoulders that we don't need anymore is so important. So check it out. I know, Gido, your courses and programs are priceless, and they're very affordable, to be honest. Okay, they are. And you're really changing a lot of people's lives. So thank you for being on with us today. I know how busy you are. And all of you, you rock it, okay? You are speakers, you are entrepreneurs, you touch people's lives. So again, okay, excel in the pressure of spotlight and just go. And as I always say, speak up, shine your brightest light, scale up, make a bigger impact, okay? Impact the world. Great to have you all on with us today. Go and rock it today. And let's keep bringing inner peace and outer peace back into the world, using Gido's tools so that we can shine our light in brighter ways. Okay? All the best. See you soon. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
We guys, bye.
Thanks.